Have you ever felt like you talk a lot but no one are really listening? You work hard but others are the ones who get appreciated and promoted. The answer doesn't lie in how smart you are, it lies in how you connect with people. And if you had to choose just one book to learn that skill, How to Win Friends and Influence People is the one you can't afford to miss. It's written by Dale Carnegie, a master of communication and persuasion. This book was first published in 1936, yet its lessons remain just as relevant today. With over 30 million copies sold worldwide, How to Win Friends and Influence People has transformed how millions of people build relationships, influence others, and achieve success in both work and life. In this video, you will get a clear summary of the 20 most important lessons from the book, concise, easy to understand, and ready to apply in your daily life. Whether you are a student, an office worker, a manager, or a content creator, these lessons can take your communication and influence to the next level. Part 1. The Art of Handling People. Lesson 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Pieces. When he was young, Abraham Lincoln had a habit of harshly criticizing others, especially political opponents. On one occasion, he wrote a scathing letter attacking Senator James Shields. The letter, filled with sarcasm and mockery, was published publicly in a local newspaper. After reading it, Shields felt deeply insulted and furious. He challenged Lincoln to a duel, which at the time was still a common way for gentlemen to settle personal disputes. Lincoln found himself in a difficult position. He was against violence and knew how deadly a duel could be, but refusing the challenge would have damaged his reputation and been seen as cowardice. Reluctantly, he accepted. Fortunately, before the duel took place, both sides managed to reconcile, and the conflict ended without bloodshed. But from that experience, Lincoln learned a powerful lesson. Public criticism doesn't just hurt. It can have serious consequences for both honor and life itself. From that point on, Lincoln completely changed his approach to dealing with others. He stopped using harsh words or public criticism. Even during his presidency, in the middle of a brutal civil war, Lincoln remained calm, tolerant, and avoided personal attacks in public discourse. The key lesson here is, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Criticism rarely changes people. It only makes them defensive or distant. Instead, try to understand them. Lead with respect and empathy, and you will build stronger, more meaningful connections. Lesson 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation instead of criticism. Human behavior isn't driven solely by logic, often mostly influenced by emotion. And one of the strongest emotional needs is the desire to feel recognized and appreciated. That's why sincere praise can be far more powerful in encouraging positive behavior than any command or order. But the key word here is sincerity. Fake compliments or obvious flattery are easy to spot and often leave people feeling manipulated. For praise to be truly effective, it must come from genuine observation and a real appreciation for someone's qualities, actions, or efforts. Dale Carnegie suggests, learn to notice the details. Instead of saying, Bob, great job, Vo, try something more specific like, I was really impressed with how calmly you handled that difficult situation. Being specific makes your praise feel authentic and meaningful, and it encourages the person to repeat that positive behavior in the workplace. Sincere appreciation can improve team culture, increase engagement, and boost internal motivation. In personal relationships, it fosters a sense of safety, closeness, and love. In short, rather than focusing on what people do wrong, make the effort to notice what they do right and tell them. But one of the fastest ways to unlock potential and build lasting connections. Lesson 3. Show genuine interest in others. Caring is at the heart of every meaningful relationship, but the foundation of that care must be sincerity. People can easily spot fake concern, especially when it's used as a social strategy to get something in return. Dale Carnegie emphasized that we can't just pretend to care in order to benefit from others. Instead, he encouraged us to genuinely develop an interest in people, in their actions, emotions, and experiences. When we do, our communication becomes more natural, more authentic, and far more effective. Genuine interest often shows up in the smallest actions, remembering someone with name, asking how they be, listening without interrupting, or simply putting your phone away when you were talking face to face. These simple behaviors are powerful signs of presence and respect. From a psychological perspective, people who feel genuinely cared for are more likely to open up and feel valued. That sense of value builds trust, and trust is the foundation of real influence, especially in the workplace or online communities. Sincere attention helps you stand out and be remembered among thousands of shallow interactions. So instead of asking, But how can I get people to care about me? Ask yourself. But who am I truly caring about? The answer to that question will shape the quality of your relationships and ultimately the impact you make on others. Lesson 4. Give suggestions instead of orders. Human nature resists being told what to do. Even when instructions make perfect sense, most people still feel uncomfortable or controlled when given direct orders. That's why Dale Carnegie recommends offering suggestions instead of issuing commands. This approach not only reduces resistance but also creates a sense of ownership and responsibility in the other person. For example, instead of saying, "But all this now, the chai asking, then what do you think is the best way to handle this?" The result, people feel respected and they're far more willing to cooperate. Giving suggestions also opens the door to creativity. Rigid orders limit how others approach a problem, but when you invite input, you are encouraging critical thinking and giving others a chance to take initiative. This is especially effective in professional or creative environments, where innovation and collaboration matter. Therein, also a strong psychological factor at play. People tend to trust their own decisions more than those imposed on them. So when you guide someone toward a course of action and let them choose it, the outcome is often more positive, even if you were steering them all along. In short, wise people don't command, M2 they guide. And great leaders don't need to shout to be heard. They ask the right questions and let others choose the right path. Lesson 5. Understand what others want and give it to them. One of the most common mistakes in communication and persuasion is starting from your own needs. People often say things like, "Buh, I want you to do this," or "Buh, I need your help with that." But herein the truth. Most people don't really care what you want. They care about what you're in it for them. Dale Carnegie taught that if you want to influence someone, start by asking, what matters to them? When you understand their needs, fears, desires, and values, you can frame your message in a way that feels relevant, respectful, and aligned with their interests. In marketing, this is known as the BO, customer benefit. The impersonal relationships, it's in the BO, emotional connection. Either way, the principle is the same. Your message should center around them. Instead of saying, "Ban, I need you to do this," "Chai, I think this could help you reach your goal faster." A small shift, but it makes a big difference. This doesn't mean manipulating people. It means shifting your perspective so you can connect more effectively. When you sincerely care about helping others get what they want, they're far more likely to help you in return. Bottom line, if you want someone to take action, give them a reason that makes it meaningful to them. Part 2. Communication, SIS, and building likability. Lesson 6. Always smile, because a smile is a universal language. The story of Howard Schultz, Starbucks. When Howard Schultz was a young employee at Xerox, his boss once gave him a simple but eye-opening piece of feedback. "So you realize you frown every time you walk into a room?" Schultz was surprised, but he soon realized that his facial expression, without him even knowing, was creating tension and making people feel distant. From that day on, he made a conscious effort to smile, not in a fake or forced way, but as a way to share positive energy. Years later, when he founded Starbucks, he made smiling a core part of the company culture. Every employee was trained to greet customers with a genuine smile, but not just to sell coffee, but to create a warm emotional experience. The result, pieces. Starbucks didn't just become a place to buy coffee. It became a place people felt connected to, a place that felt like home. The key tie here is this. In today's fast-paced and high-pressure world, where emotions are often pushed aside, those who smile have a natural edge in communication. It's not just a polite gesture. It's a powerful emotional strategy. Smile like you train at the gym, regularly and with intention. Because a smile can make both you and the world around you feel a little lighter. Every single day. Lesson 7. Remember, people names. It being the highest form of respect, a person's name is a core part of their identity. When you remember and use someone's name correctly, you are sending a powerful message. I value, according to Dale Carnegie, using a person's name is one of the quickest ways to build a personal connection. As the pieces, in today's noisy, fast-moving world, personalization is key. Whether it's in an email, a face-to-face conversation, or replying to a comment on a YouTube video, calling someone by name helps them feel seen, not lost in the crowd. On the flip side, forgetting someone with name, or worse, getting it wrong, can leave them feeling overlooked. In business especially, where respect and recognition matter, this small mistake can have a big impact on relationships. That's why developing the skill of remembering names is so valuable. Repeat the name when you first hear it. Create a mental image, or connect it to a keyword that helps you recall it later. It shows professionalism, emotional intelligence, and above all, respect. Lesson 8. Listen. Learn and encourage others to talk about themselves. One of the most common mistakes in communication is this. Everyone wants to talk, but few truly want to listen. But according to Dale Carnegie, the person who listens well is often the most well-liked. Because people love talking about themselves, it makes them feel seen, heard, and valued. Listening isn't just about staying silent. It means being actively present, focusing fully, asking thoughtful questions, and showing genuine interest. When you encourage someone to open up, you create a space where they feel safe and understood. Something rare in a world full of distractions and competition. In the digital world, listening means more than just hearing. It's in reading comments, replying with intention, and understanding the needs behind the words. The most successful creators on platforms like YouTube, Dubs, or TikTok know one truth. Listening to your audience is more important than just speaking to them. When you truly listen, you gain valuable insight, new perspectives, and can steer the conversation in a more meaningful direction. People remember those who make them feel heard, because being listened to makes them feel important, and that's a feeling they want to forget. Lesson 9. Talk about what others care about, not what you want to show off. Most people are naturally focused on their own story pieces. So if you want to grab someone with attention, you need to shift your approach pieces. Make the conversation about them, not about you. Dale Carnegie observed that someone can talk for hours about their job, their kids, their passions, as long as you touch on a topic that truly matters to them. This isn't a manipulation. Then it's the skill of guiding a conversation to create real connection. In communication, marketing, or content creation, its principle is incredibly powerful. People only stop scrolling or keep watching when they feel that the content speaks directly to them. So if you want others to listen, start by tapping into what they already care about. Ask questions like pieces or challenges are you facing right now? What day been exciting for you lately? But you could change one thing. What would it be? These kinds of questions open the door to deeper, more meaningful conversations. Bottom line, if you want people to care about what you are saying, start by caring about what matters to them. Lesson 10. Make others feel important and do it sincerely. Every person has a deep need to feel valued and respected, not because of ego, but because it's a basic human need. Dale Carnegie emphasized this simple truth. Make others feel important, but do it with genuine sincerity. It's not about shallow compliments or flattery, it's about your actions. Looking people in the eye, giving them your full attention, asking for their opinions, saying thank you at the right moment, and recognizing what they do well. But here's the key, it only works when it comes from real respect. People are incredibly good at detecting insincerity. If you compliment someone just to manipulate them, they'll feel used, not appreciated. In both work and personal relationships, lasting connections are built on mutual appreciation. When people feel truly valued, they work harder, speak more openly, and stay loyal longer. So if you want to influence others, don't try to prove you're smarter than they are. Instead, make them feel smart, and they'll naturally support you. Influencing and persuading others. Lesson 11. Avoid arguments, even when you're right. You might win an argument, but you can still lose the relationship when you defeat someone with logic. They may no longer respect you and may quietly start to distance themselves. Arguments rarely change people's minds. That's because human behavior isn't driven by pure logic. It's shaped by emotion, ego, and the deep need to feel right. When someone is publicly corrected or challenged, they often push back, not because of the facts, but because their pride feels threatened. Dale Carnegie doesn't suggest that you give in to everything or accept falsehoods. Instead, he teaches us to avoid confrontation-based communication. If there's a disagreement, approach it with a mindset of discussion. Let not debate. Listen first, find common ground, and ask open-ended questions that guide the conversation instead of attacking. In both business and life, the ability to maintain strong relationships is more valuable than the need to win every argument. Smart people know which battles are worth fighting, and most arguments simply aren't. Lesson 12. Admit your own mistakes before criticizing others. Let me tell you a story about Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. When Nadella took over as CEO in 2014, Microsoft was struggling. The company culture had become rigid. Internal competition was intense, and innovation had slowed to a crawl. But instead of blaming the old system or lecturing employees, Nadella started with humility by admitting his own mistakes. Masterpieces. He publicly said, myself and the leadership team, they failed to create an environment where you could thrive. That's on us. That one statement lowered the defenses across the entire organization. From there, Nadella led a cultural transformation, then promoting learning, embracing mistakes, and encouraging open collaboration. In just a few years, Microsoft made a stunning comeback and regained its place as a global tech leader. This story shows that admitting your faults doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. It shows humility, honesty, and earns trust. It opens the door to real communication and makes your feedback more likely to be received. Remember, pieces. The more willing you are to admit your own mistakes, the more willing others are to listen when you speak. Lesson 13. Ask questions instead of giving orders. People have a natural desire to feel in control of their own lives. Even small commands can trigger resistance because they feel like pressure. But when you turn a command into a question, you invite collaboration and encourage a sense of ownership. For example, instead of saying, have that report in by 5 p.m., you could ask, Joe, you think you will be able to finish the report by 5 today? The request is the same, but the tone is far more respectful and cooperative. Dale Carnegie understood that when people feel they have a choice, they engage with a much more positive attitude. Asking questions also opens the door for others to offer their input, which leads to stronger agreement and connection. This skill is especially powerful in team management, education, and customer service, where a sense of respect is the foundation for long-term cooperation. When you lead with questions, not commands, people feel heard, and they are far more likely to work with you, not against you. Lesson 14. Praise before pointing out mistakes. Negative feedback can make people feel tense, even hurt. That's why Dale Carnegie suggests offering praise first before giving criticism. A well-placed compliment helps soften the emotional impact. It shows that you are being fair, respectful, and coming from a place of support, not judgment. This makes the person much more open to hearing what you have to say. For example, instead of jumping straight into what went wrong, try saying, I really appreciate the effort you put into this. There in just one area I think could be improved to make it even better. This approach shifts the tone from correction to collaboration. 8. The idea behind the classic feedback, sanquits to praise. Praise. Not only does it make feedback easier to accept, but it also helps maintain motivation and mutual respect. Bottom line, a sincere compliment costs you nothing, but it can make your feedback land with empathy, not resistance. Lesson 15. Help others save face. In any interaction, saving face is an invisible yet incredibly important factor. Causing someone to lose face, especially in front of others, can lead to deep embarrassment and long-term damage to the relationship. When giving feedback or addressing an issue, avoid harsh words, direct blame, or public criticism. Pieces instead. Speak privately, use gentle language, and focus on the behavior, not the person. Dale Carnegie understood that helping someone save face is a powerful act of respect and emotional intelligence. It shows you care about their feelings and dignity, and in return, they are far more likely to trust and respect you. Creating an emotionally safe environment not only makes conflict resolution smoother, it also encourages openness, learning, and genuine change. In short, protecting someone's dignity is one of the most human and effective things you can do in any relationship. Part 4. Inspiring and developing others. Lesson 16. Praise every improvement, and no matter how small, progress, even the smallest step forward, deserves recognition. Dale Carnegie pointed out that human motivation doesn't come from far-off goals, but from feeling seen and appreciated along the way. When you praise someone in early efforts or small improvements, you give them the encouragement to keep going. This approach is especially powerful in coaching, teaching, team management, and even parenting. But herein the key, make your praise specific. Instead of a vague, great job, say something like, I noticed you turned it in on time today. That's an awesome progress. Being specific helps the person understand exactly what they did right, and makes it easier to repeat that behavior. When people feel their efforts are noticed, they're more engaged, more motivated, and more committed. In short, pieces. A culture of recognition fuels our culture of growth. Lesson 17. Inspire through positive expectations. The story of teacher Ron Clark is the perfect example of this. Ron Clark, a well-known American educator, once taught at an inner-city school where students came from tough backgrounds and were often labeled as born disciplined, under archiving, and hopeless. But instead of treating them like problem kids, Clark set high expectations and made those expectations clear every single day. He would say, you're the best students I've ever taught. I know you can do amazing things, And I want to let a single one of you fail. And he backed those words with action. He gave them challenging work, real responsibilities, and personal attention, with spending time after hours to help each student grow. The result, in just 1 year, his entire class exceeded academic standards. Several students were accepted into gifted and honors programs. The media called it a miracle of belief in education. Ron Clark didn't use fear or pressure where he used belief. He believed in his students until they started believing in themselves. The tired people often rise or fall to the expectations we place on them. When you lead with trust and confidence in someone with potential, you give them the courage to become what they never thought possible. Ron Clark showed us this pieces. The belief you place in someone else is an invisible gift, but one of the most powerful. Ek wrote, "Speak more than encouragement. At each honor declaration, Isai Mangchensho in you, and I believe you can become a better version of yourself. In a world full of doubt and judgment, those who plant seeds of hope have the power to change lives. And sometimes it all begins with just one simple phrase. I believe in you." Lesson 18. Live with stories. They're not commands. Stories are one of the most powerful tools of influence. Instead of giving cold, rigid instructions, a real-life example, a personal experience, or a lesson from someone else can connect on a deeper emotional level. Dale Carnegie understood this truth. People are more likely to change because of emotion, not logic. A well-told story helps the listener relate, feel, and imagine the consequences or benefits of an action without ever feeling forced. Whether you're giving a speech, teaching a class, leading a team, or making a video, where your ability to tell a story will leave a stronger and longer-lasting impact than any PowerPoint slide ever could. Facts tell, stories sell, and a right story can move hearts and move people to action. Lesson 19. Make mistakes easy to fix. When you make a mistake feel easy to correct, you give others the space to grow without shame or overwhelm. For example, instead of saying, "Bah, you messed this up complete, Machai. Bah, there are just a few things we can tweak, and I'll walk you through it." That tone gives people hope and lowers their defensiveness. According to Dale Carnegie, if someone believes their mistake is fixable, they'll be open to learning. And if they feel like a failure, they will either shut down or push back. This skill is especially powerful in leadership, training, and customer support, because people don't need perfection. When they need a path forward, make the fix feel doable, and you make improvement feel possible. Lesson 20. Make others want to do what you suggest. The true art of persuasion isn't about pushing people. It's about making them want to take action on their own. Dale Carnegie believed that to achieve this, you need to connect your suggestion to the other person, gene self-interest. Ask yourself, but how does this help them? What problem does it solve? What goal does it move them closer to? Instead of saying, "But follow this process," but say, "But this method could save you a lot of time." When people see how your idea benefits them directly, they take action willingly, without pressure. This ability to activate intrinsic motivation is key in leadership, sales, coaching, and it's the final powerful principle in how to win friends and influence people. You will just explore 20 timeless lessons from Dale Carnegie, be a masterpiece. This book isn't just about communication. It's about transforming how you understand and relate to people. And if they ran one message that ties all these lessons together, to influence others, start from the heart. Not with tricks, not with tactics, but with genuine kindness, empathy, and respect. Try one small lesson today. Smile at the first person you see. Give someone a sincere compliment. You will be surprised how far those little gestures can go. And if you happen to read How to Win Friends and Influence, don't wait. Let it be part of your personal growth journey. Because when you learn to connect deeply with others, you don't just win friends, you win trust, loyalty, and a better version of yourself. Thanks for watching the video. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. BookSnack is your go-to place for short and enjoyable book summaries. Got a book you go like us to cover next? Drop the title in the comments below. I will be reading all of them and picking the most requested ones. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.